Hey guys, today's lesson is on the law of sines. Last week you did right triangle trig using SOHCAHTOA. Now we're going to take a look at what if those triangles are not right triangles. All right, so the other two types of triangles are acute, so all angles less than 90, and then we have obtuse, where one angle is larger. We call these triangles oblique triangles. Oblique, okay, a triangle that does not contain a right angle. When we talk about and label, angles are going to be labeled with capital letters, as you can see in the two pictures, and the sides are labeled with lowercase letters respectively, which means straight across from angle A is going to be side A, across from angle B will be side B, and across from C will be side C. Same here. Okay, so if you look across from that angle, then you're going to name that side in the little letters. Okay. One relationship that exists among the sides and angles in an oblique triangle is called the law of sines. If A, B, and C are measures of the angles of a triangle, and little a, B, and C are the lengths of the opposite legs of these angles, then we can say that the sine of angle A divided by side A is equal taking the sine of angle B divided by the side of B, which would also be equal to taking the sine of angle C divided by side C. Now, you must be given at least one of the ratios to use law of sine. You have to have both A's or both B's or both C's. Okay, the types of triangles that you can use for law of sine is going to be two angles and a side. You need your two angles and the side. And the two types, if you kind of remember back from Math 2, we have a side angle where there's one side that's not between the two angles. So you can see here's the two angles and the side outside from them. Or angle side angle, where the side is between the two angles. So in this picture, you can see here's the two angles and this side is between the two. Okay, those are the types that you can use law of sine with. So first example says to solve the oblique triangle, round angles to the nearest whole number and sides to the nearest degree. And I wrote the steps to help you in doing this. So you can see we have a triangle and it's all labeled capital A, B, and C, little a, little b, and then there is little c. Step 1 says to find the third angle. We have two of them, so we can find the third. Triangles add to 180. So if we take 180, subtract 63 and 46, we get 71 degrees for angle B. Step 2, identify your ratios. Well, we need to pick the set that we have, our A's or B's or our C's, and we have our C's. We have angle C and we have side C. So we're going to set up that ratio first. Sine angle C, 63, over side C, 56. Then I can go ahead and look for side A or B next. I'm going to go for A. So sine of angle A, 46, over little a. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set up my other one while I'm here. So I'm going to use the same set that they gave me, the C's, and then I'm going to set this one up for the B's. So sine of angle B, which is 71 degrees, over little b. All right, step 3 now says to cross multiply and solve for each side. I don't know if you remember cross multiply, or teacher might have called it the butterfly, where they'd say, okay, you multiply those two together, set them equal to those two, and it ends up looking like a butterfly. Okay, if you want to make butterflies, you go right ahead. I'm just going to do crisscross. Okay, so little a times sine of 63 degrees is equal to taking 56 times sine of 46. Okay, so that's cross multiply. Then decide to solve for a, we're going to divide both sides by sine of 63 degrees. Okay, now calculator. Okay, first, if you're using Desmos, you need to remember to go to the upper right corner to the wrench and make sure degrees is highlighted. Then you can go down to the lower left corner and click on the keyboard, click on Functions, and under Trig, you'll see Sine. I'm going to use the graphing calculator, which I need to go ahead and go into Mode and scroll down and make sure I have degree highlighted before I start. All right, I'm going to set that fraction up just the way it looks there. So I'm going to do alpha y equals, pick that first one. Now 56 sine of 46 divided by sine of 63. Hit enter. Since this is a side, round to 1 decimal spot near a tenth, 45.21, so it's going to be 45.2. All right, so I've got one of my sides. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and crisscross or cross multiply my next one. All right, little b times sine of 63 equals 56 times sine of 71 degrees. And now I divide by sine of 63 to get little b by himself. Just doing a little algebra here. Now, if I'm using the graphing calculator, I can actually just go up to the previous problem, hit enter, and then the only thing that's different in this is this top angle, 56 sine of 71 over sine of 63. Okay, 59.4. All right, I'm done. I solved my triangle. Okay, so normally in class I would have you then write out all three answers so they'd be quicker to find. So you would put angle B, you found to be 71 degrees. Then little a is 45.2 and little b was 59.4. And yes, the sides are in inches, but it's okay. All right, there's our answer. Okay, now that previous one, that one was an angle, and then a side. The next example has the side between the two angles. All right, label everything that isn't. Okay, first thing, find my third angle. So 180 minus 50 minus 33.5 gives me 96.5 degrees for angle B. And my pairing for this one that I'm going to use is my B's here. Okay, so sine of angle B, 96.5 over 76 equals, who do we want to find next? I'll do A, sine of 50 over little a. Now I cross multiply. I'm going to show you a little shortcut in cross multiplying. Okay, to get little a, I'm going to take 76 times sine of 50, just like you were doing before, and then we end up dividing by this sign of 96.5, and that gives me a. Now, if you don't like that, keep doing what you're doing. I'm just doing the two steps all in one. Okay, so there is my equation. I'm going to plug it into my calculator, and I end up getting 58.6. Okay, and then my second, I'm going to use second problem, sine of 96.5 over 76 again, and this time I want to find little c. So sine of angle C, which is 33.5 over little c. Okay, you're cross multiplying. So if you didn't like how I did that first one, I'll do this one normal. All right, so I'm taking C times sine of 96.5 equals 76 times sine of 33.5. All right, and then we're dividing by sine of 96.5. Bloop. And little c is equal to 42.2. So I'm done. I've got everything. So angle B is 96.5 degrees. I have little a, 58.6, and little c, 42.2. Now, sometimes they won't have the triangle drawn. They'll give you some measurements. So the best thing to always do is to go ahead and draw your triangle so you have um, a reference point, okay? And it doesn't matter how perfect it's drawn. I do know that this one's an oblique. I mean, not an oblique. It is oblique, but it is a obtuse. So my larger angle that looks like what I drew, I'm going to put A here. I'll put B up here, and then put C. Okay, and then the other thing they gave me was little c is 200. So I've got to find little a and little b. All right, so first step, I need my last angle, which is angle B. So I am taking 115 plus 35, and I'm subtracting that from 180, and that's going to give me 30 degrees for angle B. Okay, now what pairing do I have? Well, I have the C's here. I have angle C and side C. So my first setup here, sine of angle C, 35, over little c of 200 is equal to, I'm going to find A again, sine of 115 for angle A over little a. All right, cross multiply. A times sine of 35 equals 200 times sine of 115. And then we divide sine of 35 over to the other side. All right, plug it into your calculator, and A is 316. Okay, so far the measure of angle B, we got to be 30 degrees. Okay, and then we just found side A. All right, now set up my next proportion, sine of 35 over 200 again, using my C's, and I want to find side B, so sine of angle B, which is 30 over little b. Okay, I'm going to do my little shortcut here. So to get B, I'm crisscrossing, I'm taking 200 times sine of 30 degrees divided by sine of 35 degrees, and that's going to give me my B. Plug that into the calculator, and little b is 174.3. All right, so hopefully that helps out with those examples. Okay, our next set now we're going to hop to is, what happens here? Oh, wait a minute, I have one angle and two sides, but we just got done talking about we need two angles and just one side. You know, we still are using our ratios here, but let's answer a few questions. This is how many angles are given? Well, you can see they only give me one. How many sides? Two. Did they give you a side with its angle partner? Oh, they sure did right here. So yes, we've got the C's partners, okay? And then it says, can I find one of my angles this way? Well, I don't know. What do you think? Do you remember inverse? Well, I bet you we're going to use inverse to help us find this. So let me label the rest of what I have here. Okay, so let's take a look. How would I set this up? Of course, I start with my ratio that I have, my C's. So sine of angle C, which is 68 degrees over 8.5. And then, okay, I want to find my A's, but I don't have an angle or a side for A, so I cannot put that over next to the equals. I've got to look at my B's next. I don't know sine of angle B, but I do know its side is 8.1. So I have 3 out of 4 pieces of information. So I think I can solve this. So let's go ahead and cross multiply. So I am taking 8.5 times sine of angle B equals 8.1 times sine of 68 degrees. Now to get sine of angle B by itself, I'm dividing by 8.5. So sine of angle B is equal to, well, let's see what that equals. Let's pull up the calculator again. Okay, so I'm taking 8.1 sine of 68 I forgot to put it in a fraction, so I'll just hit enter and then divide it by the 8.5. All right, I get this long number here. Let me put it over here. And I need, let's go 4 decimal places. For more accuracy, that 5 is going to bump him up. So I end up with 0.8836. Well, hopefully you remember from doing our right triangle trig that at this point, in order for us to find that angle, we would have to do sine inverse of this 0.8836. And that's going to give us what our angle B is. All right, so we go ahead and hit second sine to get sine inverse 0.8836. And we round to the nearest whole, we get 62. So we have the angle B is 62 degrees. Look at that. All right, so now we have another angle. I'm going to go ahead and label it up here, 62 degrees. So now can we get angle A? Of course. We have 2 of them. So if we take 180 and subtract 68 and subtract 62, we end up with 50 degrees. So now I have angle A. So I'm going to write it over here. I have angle A is 50, and I have angle B, which is 62. So I got those answers so far. Now the last thing I have to do is find side A. So I'm going to use the pairing that we have, which was the sine of 68 over 8.5. And now I want to find little a. So sine of 50 degrees over little a. Okay, I'm going to use my little shortcutty thing here. Okay, so I'm going to take 8.5 times sine of 50 degrees divided by sine of 68 degrees, and that's going to give me my A. So I plug that into my calculator, and I end up getting 7.0 for A. A is 7.0. And there it is. There's my answer. So if I have a pairing, going back to the beginning of our notes back here, if I can get to it, remember I had here that you must be given, right here, you must be given at least one of the ratios to use law of sine. And we were given that. So let's go back to that example here. Okay, so now I have one example left, and then you'll do 4 practice problems, and then you'll have a math bits, a delta math, a quizzes, and a quiz. Okay, so this week's a little bit shorter. Okay, example 6, this is just another one where we're given one angle. We have angle B, that's it, okay? But they gave us side B, they gave us side A, we don't know side C. We do have a pairing right here. So we can use that. So sine of angle B, which is 88 over 26, equals, well, who are we going to find next? Well, the other side they gave me was side A, so I'm going to find angle A next. So sine of angle A over 21. Okay, y'all do your cross multiply. So here we are. Then to get rid of the 26, we'll divide it over. All right, so sine of angle A, when we plug 21 times sine of 88 divided by 26, we get 0.8072. Now I have to sine inverse that 0.8072 to get my angle A, and A is 54 degrees. Okay, so here's my 54. Now I can get my last angle, angle C. Let me write out over here. Angle A, I got 54. Well, angle C, 180 minus 88 minus 54 is going to give me 38 degrees. So now the last thing I need to do is find little c. So using the pairing they gave us from the beginning, sine of 88 degrees over 26, now I can do sine of angle C, which we found to be 38, over little c. Okay, cross multiply. So I got 26 times sine of 38 divided by sine of 88. And that's going to give me for little c a 16. And there's my answers. All right. Next, here are your 4 problems to do. Okay, it says solve all missing sides and angles in each triangle, round to the nearest tenth for sides and the nearest degree for angles. At this point, you can go ahead and pause the video, work out the 4 problems, and then you can unpause to check your answers. All right, here are the answers for 1 and 2. Slide up a little bit and you should be able to see 3 and 4 there. There we go. Okay, so go ahead and check your answers. If you did really well and you don't need to see any of the problems worked out, you can stop the video now and go ahead and do your practice stuff. If you need to see them worked out, I'm going to do that next. All right, here we go. Number 1. Label, I got little b, little a, little c. First, I need to find angle C. So 180 minus 84 minus 42. I got 54 degrees here for angle C. Now, what pairing do I have? I have the b's. So sine of angle B, which is 84 over 50. And I'm going to find A next. Sine of 42 over little a. Okay, I'm going to do my cross multiplying. So to get little a, I'm plugging in 50 times sine of 42 degrees over sine of 84 degrees. Plug it in, and I end up getting for a 33.6. Okay, then I'm going to use the same setup of the sine of 84 degrees over 50. And this time I'm finding C. So sine of 54 over little c. Okay, cross multiply. So I'm going to do 50 times sine of 54 degrees divided by sine of 84 degrees. Plug that in, and little c is 40.7. Hey, number 2. I need to find my third angle first. 180 minus 22 minus 39 is 119 degrees. All right, so now I have a pairing. I have angle B and side B. I need to find little c and a little a. So let's set up my pairing. Sine of 119 over 29. And I'm going to go ahead and find a. Sine of 22 over little a. Cross multiply. So 29 times sine of 22 over sine of 119. When you go ahead and plug that in, we get 12.4 for A. Okay. And then for our next one here, I'm going to use the same setup of the sine of 119 over 29. But this time we want to find little c. So sine of 39 over c. Cross multiply. 29 times sine of 39 over sine of 119. So little c is equal to 20.9. Okay, number 3. One angle, but they did give us a pairing. So I'm going to use my A's. Okay, I set that one up. So sine of angle A of 48 over 36. Now, who am I going to set it equal to? Well, I got side C, so I'm going to find sine of angle C. I'm going to find angle C first over 41. Okay, cross multiply. 36 times sine of C equals 41 times sine of 48. Okay, divide by 36. I almost did sine. Divide by 36, both sides. Sine C is equal to, well, when we take that 41 times sine of 48 and divide it by 36, we get 0.8464. So then we're going to sine inverse 8464, 0.8464. Sine inverse this to get our angle C. And angle C ends up being, what we got here, 58 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to come back up here, put the 58 here, and now I can get my third angle, which 180 minus 48 minus 58 is 74 degrees. So now I have to find B. Okay, so using my same setup again, the sine of 48 over 36, but now I've got sine of 74 over little b. Okay, cross multiply. So in your calculator, 36 times sine of 74 degrees divided by sine of 48 degrees, and little b ends up being 46.6. Okay, and then the last one, all the way up here, this one they did not draw for us. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a graph here. Okay, A, B, C. This is going to be little a, little c, little b. And then what did they give us? Well, they gave us angle B is 37. They gave us little a, which is 21, and little b, which is 29. All right, what pairing do we have? Well, we have the b's. So sine of angle B, 37, over little b, 29. Who are we going to find? Well, we were given A. So we're going to find angle A. Sine of angle A over little side 21. Okay, cross multiply. 29 sine of angle A is equal to 21 sine of 37. We're going to divide by sine. There, I did it again. Divide by 29. Sine of angle A equals, well, when we take that 21 times sine of 37 degrees and we divide it by 29, we get 0.4358. So then we are going to sine inverse that, and A is going to end up being 26 degrees. All right, now to get angle C, I can take 180 minus 37 minus 26, and I get 117 degrees. So now I have to find little c. So using our b's again, and now sine of 117 over little c. Hey, cross multiply, we're almost done. Little c, 29 times sine of 117 over sine of 37. And that tells me that my little c is 42.9. All right, there you go. Good luck, y'all, on law of sine. Talk with you later. Bye.